Hey bosses, it's Marie from Asian Boss. If you had to take a guess as to what the legal age of marriage in India is, what would be your guess? Recently, a controversial bill was proposed to raise the legal marriage age in India to 21. And you guys asked us to interview ordinary Indian citizens about this issue, and we listened. So let's hit the streets of Mumbai to hear what people have to say.
Have you heard about the bill recently proposed in the parliament to raise the legal age of marriage for girls to 21?
Yes, I've heard.
Yes, I have heard about it.
I just heard it from my friend right now. I did not know that before.
So what was your first reaction when you heard about it?
I think when I read it, it was a big relief because I did share it with a couple of my friends, and it's of course a step in the right direction.
I think I was actually very happy when this came to be because for boys it's 21. So I think in terms of equality for girls also it should be 21.
So what's the current age of marriage in India and why are they raising it to 21?
Now the current age after proposing the bill is 21. Previously it was 18, and I think they are raising the age so that the girls have more opportunity to get educated and be independent. And also I think it's a population control measure.
Worldwide, a lot of countries have it as 18. But in India, the situation is a little different because in India, child marriage is a big issue, and India is kind of divided between rural India and the urban India. And in rural India, there's no individuality or personal choice given to people.
How controversial is this issue in India right now? What are the people talking about it?
I think it's very controversial because, as you know, India is not just one state where one person speaks one language or a dialect. It's a country where we have different states. Like somewhere in the north you have some other views, in south you have some other views. Everybody is opinionated. So of course it's controversial because I know for a fact that people in northern India, they do have their grooms or brides decided when they're born. Like forget being 18. They know that this person will marry this person when they get to a certain age. Exactly the legal marrying age, and that's when they can do it.
I think suburban cities, nobody cares that much about it because nobody gets married too early. Like 21 is actually early, but in rural areas it is a huge issue because first we had child marriages in India, and to stop that the legal age was 18. But now since it is increased from 18 to 21, people are more have contradictory opinions on this.
People from especially northern Indian part of they won't digest it so easily because for them it has been status quo for a very long time. So yeah, for them to digest the change and accept it, it will take time. So there will be oppositions from a lot of the section of the who are not still educated. Although our literacy rate is 80%, but still, what it's going on for the eons of the generation, it will take time.
I think in India what happens is getting married and having children is directly related. And then for women, the fertile age is I think from 16 to around 30 because after 30 you can have some complications. So people want their brides to have young and healthy babies, and hence they want the legal age to be less than 18.
So for comparison, the legal age for voting in India is 18, and for most practical purposes, the law recognizes you as an adult after you're 18. So does it make sense to have a different age limit for marriages?
I think it does because when you are voting or even for driving, being after 18, it's not that driving or voting doesn't make a big change on your life, but getting married, it's so personal and it's a very huge deal. So I think 21 is a better, for marriage at least 21 is a better minimum age.
Honestly, at prima facie, it doesn't make sense. But the challenges in our society is that this is being made a cap because otherwise people are not really looking at the implications. Though I also feel that 18 is a too young age to even vote for because you don't know what the implications are or how much your vote matters. But the whole thing is about education. Like if an 18-year-old is educated and aware, he or she can personally take this choice of whether he or she wants to get married or not.
I think we should just change the age of getting voted as well because at the age of 18 we don't know what we're doing. And honestly, even if it's 18, I don't think most of the people who are 18 are voting.
Do you personally think that the legal age to get married in India should be 21?
I'll always say it will be one's choice. I don't think there should be specific law just for girls. Be like, okay, 21 it is, and then you can get married.
Definitely. Minimum should be 21. I mean, what I feel is that, like I've stated before, you should be a graduate, you should have completed your education, after which you get married. So 21 is definitely a very good age. But I mean, by that age, almost everyone has completed their education. So yeah, 21 is definitely a good minimum age to get married.
I mean, if given a chance, I would make it to 25. People, they get married, but there is a lot of divorce rates I have noticed. Because they get married, in the heat of the moments. They feel it's all rosy, but when after they get married, they see that it's not as rosy as it seems to be, and then they get the ground reality.
I don't think so. I think if the legal age for everything is 18, then it should for legal age for marriage should also be 18.
Some women's rights activists and feminists are saying that this law could prove a disaster for women, as it could render all the marriages which have happened under 21, it would render them invalid. What do you think about that?
Well, they should read law thoroughly and then speak, because they are speaking out of the box. They don't know what they are talking about, because under any law, if a current law passes and there was a previous law regarding that, so it is ratified. The thing is, marriages when they happened when they were 18, it's not nullified. They will still be married. Since now on, people can't get married when they are 18.
I mean, if protest starts happening, one thing it can be good where if they're not happy with their marriage, they can get out of it. But then as it is, if they're happy and they want to continue, it's up to them.
By the way, how often do you see or you hear about girls getting married below the age of 18 in India?
A lot. I think when I just graduated, so when my classmate was engaged, and she was waited till she graduated to get married. Or some, even I've heard about my class teachers who were married when they were still giving exams. So this has happened personally as well. Like even my sister got married when she was giving exams, which I thought was bizarre. Like, why do you want to get married?
I have seen my own friends, they have married at the age of 18. Like since they have passed the school or colleges behind my back. And they have done. So it is not something new. Like I have been seeing from my childhood and going on in the society. So yeah, I mean it's not something to be surprised of.
I live in a metropolitan city, so it's not that frequent here. But I think, like I come from UP, Uttar Pradesh. It's in northern India, and somewhere there, or in Bihar, or in Rajasthan, or in Madhya Pradesh, I have heard my distant cousins of they are not married at before 18, but I would say they have decided already when they're at 15 that this girl is gonna marry this guy. And that stays like that until they have done their high school, and then eventually when they can, which is at 18, they get married. But there are scenarios which I've heard and I've read about it, that people are married at 10 years of age, 5 years of age even. Because again, the parents have that suspicion wherein if they can, get rid of their responsibility, which is the woman in this case, that's the better thing. I think it is inherent to Indian society in a way that, as you can see, like all these things that I mentioned previously, like northern India, you do have some people and some families getting married because it is inculcated in their culture itself.
The scenario seems to be better in urban areas. Why do you think is that the case?
I think in urban areas, even people coming from rural areas see people around them. They try to develop, they try to change according to the situations. And here educational opportunities are like literally there are thousands of educational opportunities. So girls get proper education, they get proper voice. And if I'm standing in front of you and saying things, let me tell you, when I was born, for 5 years I stayed in village and then I shifted here. So I know that how people there think and how people here think. So the confidence you get from meeting people, knowing them, exchanging thoughts, here we have variety of people coming from each caste, each religion. So when you get mixed up with them, you have literally a broad mindset because you listen to everyone.
I mean, it was an issue we had a whole law about child marriage abolition. There are sections of our society where they just get their children married at the very early age because they have all their own conditioning and thinking about it, and there's no reasoning that can stop them.
But if there is already a law in place to stop that, like how does that happen then?
Because there's no actual check about it, because it's like, let's take a hypothetical situation, like you get married to someone, you are let's say 18 and your wife is 12, but you live in a very remote village or a society which accepts this. No one is going to raise a question about it, or really complain about it, because to everyone, you and everyone around you, it's okay, it's how things are supposed to be. Let the government say whatever they want to say at the state level.
So, like, what do you think? At what age is a woman ready to make decision for herself to get married?
21 is way better than 18 because we're dependent on ourselves now and not on someone, not on our parents. So 21 or maybe 23 or 24 also, because 21 is just graduated, not a job in hand right now. So I guess 23, 24 would be better than 21.
I think you should get married after you are financially independent, after you can earn for yourself, and when you can do that when you have completed your education. So everyone should, not just women, men and women should get married only after they are financially independent. So definitely, after 21 is when you will probably have completed your education, have a job in hand, and after which you can actually start thinking about marriage.
You can never really say maturity doesn't come from age, it comes from experiences and things you go through. So a person can be 40 years and still be not mature enough to take decisions, and a person can be 16-year-old and make the decisions regarding whole country. So I think age is not a number you can say that a person is mature.
Can be around 21, 22, 23. I mean, a person should have seen life enough to understand what kind of person they want to live and spend their rest of the life with. Because honestly, 18 is really a young age to even figure out what you want to do individually. Even for us men living in urban areas and being educated, it's not like I had figured my life by the age of 25 also. I mean, I'm not saying that everyone is as confused as I am, but at least give them an opportunity. So I think 23, 24 would be a fair enough.
So, like, could there be any unseen negative consequences of the law?
See, if there are homes where a girl is being harassed or she is living in a toxic environment since birth, so maybe for that particular girl, the suffering goes to more 3-4 years because of this illegal age. Otherwise, it's very nice. This law is very good.
To be honest, I think the unforeseen negative consequences that I can think of is people revolting against this law, because other than that, I don't think there are any other negative consequences, and that could happen because it takes a lot of time for people to change their mindsets, their mentality regarding such strict rules, especially when it comes to men versus women. It's a very controversial, touchy subject, and it will take a lot of time.
That the only drawback that I see is that it takes away the personal choice from at least that section of society who is really educated and aware and still sure that they want to get married. That will really put them back. But I don't see it as a very big negative, because at least they get those another 3 years to make that choice. I mean, honestly, 18 is a very young age to be sure of what do you want to do for the rest of your life, and giving that commitment to another person. It really requires a hell lot of awareness and maturity to really take that decision. So I guess that 3 years of gap really makes that person, that girl, from a girl to a woman. So I don't see a lot of negative implications.
In a practical sense, are you hopeful that this bill would actually have a great impact on the issue of child marriage, or it would be useless?
It should. In a practical sense, it should have a good impact on the issue of child marriages, and we can hope for the best that it does, and we are not sent off to just getting married by someone we've not even seen. And I really hope that it works.
It would prove useless only if there are no checkups, or like the government is not following up on rural areas. If no action are taken, then there's no point. It wouldn't be effective. There's no use of the bill if the government does not actually implement it.
I think even when the legal age was 18, still, I mean, child marriages are still happening around rural areas where people are, when the government and officials are not able to detect it. If in, this rule will actually take effect if the people change their mentality, change their mindsets. Just because you're imposing a rule on someone doesn't mean they're actually going to behave according to it. So as long as the people of India, especially in the rural areas, they think about it practically, and if they agree with it, then this will make a change.